All right,
Yeah.
so
So
we're
from,
recording this
yeah,
just to have a, a high level kind of summary, and I think we've got like those details about the first week that we're not,
yeah.
the cell phones being delivered that first week. That'll kind of play into this, and then we're thinking kind of this 2 to 3 days a week usage of eTRAIN, at least off the cuff. But exactly what days, that's fine if we don't know that at this point.
Yeah.
And we can hit the other agenda items as we go forward from here. Jordan, sorry, you want to jump
No,
in?
that was what I was going to say too, that the as long as we have a rough start date, we can have all the accounts set up. I think from our previous discussions, the idea is they will be anonymized on our end. So we don't need to know exactly all that information. What we'll send to you will be a spreadsheet of, OHP officer one, two, down to however many it will be at that time. I think we're at whatever that number will be
40.
at
40.
40. And then we will also send, the username, the login information. So that'll be the password for each user. And on your end, you'll keep, who's attached to who. So you'll know OHP1 is Officer Smith and OHP 37 is Officer Johnson. But we won't know that. So getting all that information is not mission critical for us to start on that date. As long as we have a rough estimate, we can have everything ready and sent to you. And whenever you do start, it's ready. The other thing is, again, like what Jason was saying, the timing is whatever works for your schedule, and that's part of the software. Is that it'll work at any time. You don't need us scheduling it or doing anything on that end. So it is really once it's activated, you can use it anytime you want.
That's kind of what you
Um,
pay for with it, right? It's
yeah,
always on trainer, right? So
Okay.
they can use it whenever they want. And this actually ties into one of the milestones that we wanted to talk about, which is if there are any specific, like if you wanted to align scenarios to the curriculum, or if you want to have some aspect of it being like algorithmically driven in terms of what areas they're weak or strong on, or if you want to like start with it being aligned with academy curriculum in the beginning and then switch it over to algorithmically driven. I remember in Indy, Chris, we talked a little bit about that. And so, what are you guys thinking at this stage for aligning scenarios to academy curriculum, or is it just too early to tell that right now?
It's a little bit early right now, and because like filling it, building the schedule is just it's the bane of my existence right now.
hmm
But it's hard to align it right now because I just don't have it. I'm waiting on the way I'm doing this is my most difficult blocks to schedule are my outside instructors that have to come in. So I schedule them and then I throw everything else in and around it. And the way I'm trying to space training out this year, instead of siloing it like we've been forced to in the past, is I couldn't even give you a rough right now of it. I'm still waiting on those moving parts first. But so there is training that I'm going to do. I'm going to push very hard up front, and that I can touch on throughout the academy. And it's something I've started with our field trainers that I realize that I need to start an academy. And and Jared, you're going to be familiar with this. It's our policing priorities, because those policing priorities kind of guide all of our decision making, and it will fall in line with everything that we've seen on the eTRAIN platform so far. Jared, do you have any agreement, disagreement, concerns?
Um, the only thing that I would say is that if we had the capability of basically labeling each one of the scenarios, which I know we can just from building it, as saying, hey, this is going to be a legal block scenario. I think if we went in and did every one of our scenarios and just make sure that we are labeling these a little better, so that if I'm not there, that another guy picks it up and in brackets it says legal questions or legal block or defensive tactics or driving or whatever it may be, then I think that that opens us up to not necessarily have to be so set on making this curriculum driven, to
Yeah.
where
Okay.
if we do legal block at the first of the academy, then we can throw in a legal block question in eTRAIN for the following week or 2 weeks down the road. And it's not something that we have to necessarily keep up with, but because I'll know the schedule, of course, by the time we get there. And then I can go, hey, whatever instructor's there tonight, hey, I need you to show scenario 5 that's labeled, car, van, legal question,
Mhm.
legal scenario 1. And then I think that would alleviate the problem of having to put that driven by curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things here. There's the officers doing it on their own, and there's the classroom where it's instructor led.
Yeah.
So like the one-on-one and the instructor led. The instructor led one is where you'll discuss with your instructors and choose which one you want to show at the time. I think the specific, when Jason was talking about like algorithmic, or if you want to set curriculum, is more for the one-on-one sessions. So where they're doing it on their own, let's say you come in, you have classroom time, and you do 2 or 3 scenarios in that hour, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's say. That's the instructor led. But then let's say you tell them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we want you to do 2 scenarios on your own. What we're talking about here is, what are the 2 scenarios they're doing on their own? Is that going to be whatever the algorithm decides? Or do you want to set specific scenarios so that when they come in on Wednesday, it covered whatever ground? We don't have to decide now, but you do have the ability to say, okay, this is the order of the scenarios we want the cadets to complete everything. And that might give you some clarity on, okay, these are the things that we've covered. So now that when we go into the classroom from the instructor's standpoint, here are the topics they should know or they should be accustomed with, so that we have a sense of where they're at. I think that's part of the discussion we're having now. Not that you have to make a decision now, but that's the capabilities of eTRAIN, where you can have all the cadets doing the same scenarios in a certain order, or the eTRAIN will show each cadet a different scenario at a different time, depending on their current, what they've done previously and, how they're answering questions. You don't have to make a decision now. We have plenty of time to set that, but that's the kind of thought process to think about as you implement this.
So I have a
So,
couple
okay.
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
concerning exactly what you're just saying. So if we do algorithmic driven,
Yeah.
especially with the one-on-ones, um, I'm concerned that questions may come to the instructors, and depending on the volume of scenarios that are there, we're like, well, you're gonna have to give us 20 minutes to look at the scenario ourselves before I can answer any questions.
We got that.
And then, I mean, I'm wargaming this in my head, so bear with me. But if it's every cadet does the same one on a one-on-one, I'm concerned about the groupthink. And because the one-on-one, I just don't want to work if they're asking each other questions, because now it's not really one-on-one. It's almost a group exercise. So this
Well,
is
so
new
the
to
way,
us, so I'm not sure.
so the way it's set up, I understand that. The way it's set up is not like previous online learning platforms and it's set up for this reason. Um, it's not about reading the material, getting a question, and then answering it you have your hour to do it. It's about answering the question as fast as possible, because you only have a certain amount of time. There is not enough time for them to see a scenario, ask the question, and then go ask someone else what they answered. there's not enough time for that.
It's
They
pretty
have to
hard. Yeah,
answer.
I mean, like it's not
It,
impossible, but like I've never seen that happen before, Chris, because like, especially once their cell phones are issued, you assign it as homework for the period when they're out of the academy. I mean, I know you actually bunk them, right? Like you board them
Yeah, so
someplace.
they'd be in their dorm rooms, but there'd be
mm,
6 guys to a dorm room, and if they're not doing them all at the same time, you know, I, and human nature, and call me a pessimist because I am. He said, "Hey, man, we're going to ask you this question. I'm just telling you right now that on that question, this is the answer." Or and
Well,
Yeah, let's see if I mean,
so so
yeah, go ahead, Jared. Hey, do you guys
so
do that like that happens very often, like with the probably with the written test and things like that, right? Like they kind of get together and do a group mind.
they could if we let them. They would if we let
yeah,
them, no
Yeah.
doubt.
they didn't get too
interesting.
issued.
It's interesting. I mean, like think of the classroom settings where we had like the timer, counting down and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you guys all would have to be like, "Hey, what are you going to answer?" And like get it coordinated in that amount of time as the thing is ticking down. Um,
So I
hey,
guess my
if they're that
question.
good at coordinating, like
Yeah.
maybe they need like to be maybe there's like another skill set that they'll be great at, and like coordinating
Right.
SWAT teams or something like that, because they're
Yeah.
doing group decisions under pressure. But I've never seen that happen before because of the time pressure element that
Yeah.
you're talking about particularly. What were you thinking, Jared?
So my question would be is coming from the eTRAIN scenario and doing it in the classroom, even
Mhm.
if they are doing this in their rooms, they're not receiving the correct answer.
Correct.
They don't know the correct answer
They
until they
don't
finish it.
That's right.
right. And
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 until
and
they
then
finish.
even if one guy thinks that this is a no shoot scenario or this violated the Fourth Amendment, I mean he's not going to be correct. I mean, he may be wrong or he may be correct. I mean, that's either or.
They
Um,
won't find out till the end.
so
Yeah.
he won't find out to the end there. But if the other part that I have on the algorithm side of it, the other question I have there
Mhm.
is that if we do run the algorithm and say we're having an issue from our own observation of a cadet, and I have worries that this cadet is not going to engage either physically or lethal when it comes time to make those decisions. Are we able to manipulate that algorithm to give them more shoot, don't shoot scenarios? Or, hey, we're like, man, we're having trouble with this guy. I don't, we put him in a Milo system and he don't pull the trigger. Like, what's like, he's giving me this off the wall excuse of why he didn't pull the trigger.
Hmm.
Um,
We have
we,
ways of saying, okay, you want more tactical decisions or you
okay.
want more de-escalation decisions.
Or
We
you would
you would
talk to us about the specifics of, what
we
the case
can
is, and we would kind of
yeah.
like figure out with you, like we've done that before, actually in academy settings. I
Okay.
think I talked to you, Chris, early on about a decision hesitancy case, but it was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, what are we measuring now? Is there any hope for this person? What can we do, and what can't we do?
Well,
And
and so
We
Jared's actually speaking from a little bit of experience from his last patrol school because it was one of the E-train scenarios where it was glaring that this guy should have used
mhm.
some force and instead of just dying. And then we kind of saw some of the same things in our hands-on fight scenarios where we're like, man, you better be the best talker ever
yeah.
because you you won't hit
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
The answer to Jared's question is yes, we have those knobs at our disposal to turn or select if necessary, if we go the algorithm approach.
Is I mean, from my understanding, and Lieutenant can correct me if I'm wrong, but with the capabilities that we're going to have from eTrain to giving on each one of these individual cadets of what they're failing at or what they're doing good at, when it comes time for what we call a board, to board a cadet, whether to, hey, you're untrainable,
Mm.
or we're gonna have to let you go. These eTrain files and the points or whatever you want to call it, the data that we're getting from this is going to be used to show that this is unbiased Trooper
Yep.
Martinez's standpoint,
Hmm.
from Lieutenant Lyles' standpoint. This is not just Trooper Martinez with 15 years of experience saying that you're going to get somebody killed.
Yeah.
This is something that's an independent party that this is putting data together showing that you have a problem with engagement or to
Hmm.
make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the worry, or not the worry anymore, because you told me we can do it, is that having those capabilities to do that is going to make it even that much better when it comes to that.
Hmm.
Now, with
Yeah.
them having the homework in their dorm, I don't I don't foresee too much of a problem when it comes to that. I guess, for lack of better words, what we would call a trooper review and sharing answers and all that good stuff. Because I think the manipulation of that is going to be pretty evident if they are doing that.
If they're all
Um,
answering the same exact way,
yeah,
we'll be able,
yeah.
you will see it. I
And
mean, everyone
so,
would have the same exact scores, and it would
right
be something would be funky.
now, from an instructor standpoint, for myself, of course, I can always tell them, hey, listen, you kind of hosed me on this one, and all y'all answered the same question the right way. Hey, y'all do this to me again, I don't have a choice but to let your tax know that you're cheating. And that goes against our core values here. And I can't tell you what's going to happen on the third deck because of the decisions you made down here in the classroom or the decisions you did make on the third
Yeah.
deck in your room.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some fear capabilities in there. I think that we could keep that away from even the possibility of them, for lack of better words, the cheating. Uh,
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they're cheating. Just one from what we've seen in other and from other cases, and two, the way it's set up, and three, if you do go the algorithmic approach, it'd be really hard to cheat unless they have incredible memories,
Yeah.
like like really excellent memories. Because I'd say you probably, as of now, like if they were using it today, they'd have somewhere in the range of, I don't know, let's say 60 scenarios loaded in at this moment. They'd have to remember the 60 scenarios because they might get it at different points. They'd have to remember the 5 questions within each scenario, and the timing of them. So if the algorithmic approach plus the timing of it and how it's set up would be really, really difficult for cheating to actually occur and to make any sense. Um, Obviously, the curriculum way, where you have a specified order to the scenario, so they're all doing it at the same time, like the same order, that would lead a little bit more towards, to your concerns. Uh, but I do think from all that we've seen working across other departments and other academies, we haven't really seen that as an issue. And also the fast decision making that eTRAIN forces the officers and cadets to do makes it really, really difficult, because it's time pressure, because they're seeing the question for the first time, unless they have someone over their shoulder who just did it and doing it with them.
right.
I mean, which would be blatant cheating. I don't really see that
That's
occurring.
exactly what I was. The
Okay.
concern is in the dorm rooms is
Yeah.
exactly what you just described. But you've alleviated a lot of my
Yeah.
concerns, and after listening to the explanation exactly how we use that, I think the algorithmic might be the way to go, Jared. Unless you can uh, tell me, maybe
so
not. I don't know.
So the only question I would have is when we're talking about the algorithm itself, are we talking about just the one-on-one for them?
Yes.
And so the
Yes.
classroom would be totally different anyway. So
Totally
when
different. I would say the way we would set it up is, and this kind of brings us back to like scenario builder
right,
and generating your specific curriculum. Um, what we would do is if you have the prototypical scenarios you want to do as instructors, and let's say this is 5 weeks, 6 weeks, or however long the instructors are doing it for 8 weeks, you have those 3 sessions a week. You're assuming maybe 2 scenarios per session given the discussions you're having, right? So when you guys did the trial, you had a sense of, okay, each scenario, while they might not be long, the scenario in itself, the discussions you can generate off of them can last a long time. So, if you choose 2 to 3 scenarios per session around, so you generate however many scenarios that are going to be the classroom ones, and then those wouldn't be fed into the algorithm. And then the algorithm would choose basically all the other scenarios that they would see. And it would pick and choose, which scenarios are the most useful to share to that cadet at that time, based on, how they've answered in previous. They'll all start at some random spot, but over time it'll learn a little bit.
Right.
That's how I would set it up to mix in the classroom and the algorithm, but still maintaining the whole curriculum you want to set up.
Yeah, to me, I think that would probably be the best way, Lieutenant.
I agree.
Um, especially with us picking and choosing the ones we are going to show in the classroom, because
Mm-hmm.
I still think that we show one scenario like I talked about at the very beginning of the academy, where it is a clearly shoot scenario, it's a clearly an engagement scenario,
Mm-hmm.
and then we show that same scenario at PPO, the same exact thing, to go from, hey, this was what you were at week 1, and this is what you are at week 20 of a 24-week academy. And that would help us, not manipulate, but it would help us to keep that part a little more, to see the improvement and growth of the
Mm-hmm.
cadet
Yeah.
from week 2 of the academy to week 23 or week
Yeah.
20 when we're able to do PPO, and then having them on the algorithm, the rest of it. And then, like you said, we can pick and choose, especially some of the stuff that maybe is a little more tent circuit than it is anywhere else. Picking those ones in the classroom for us to do would be beneficial to that, because I think you are going to have a lot of discussion. I mean, no matter what the scenario is, you're going to have discussion, even with them doing it on
Exactly.
their own, which is a great thing, for most.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking to anybody. We can talk about whatever we talk about, but now some of the other instructors that come, which of course, I don't know who's coming. They would have to just be on board to understand that they're going to be asking a lot of questions when it comes to the eTRAIN side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and having a little more patience with some of these guys.
Yeah.
It may not always come easy, but it is something that we're going to have to adapt with.
Great. Yeah, so that just goes to the scenario builder. And I think starting, having this discussion now, coming through to February gives enough time uh, for getting back into scenario builder and really going through the scenarios we already have, that if you wanted to just copy them and relabel them with
Mm-hmm.
that, with the tags you want to put on it, but then also just looking through all the available scenarios to say, okay, these match, the curriculum we want to teach. We don't have to make any changes. We'll leave that. And then also being able to create new scenarios that you do that are specific to the things you want to teach. Just trying to build up the OHP curriculum to match exactly what you want. We think the next 3 months that are available can be super. Will provide plenty of time for you to go through and being able to have it ready for them. But
Sure.
also, as you go through it, you could still do it at, once the February time comes, you could continually be making these scenarios.
Oh yeah.
And the
Yes.
and the strength here is, the more of these you make next year or going forward, you're just going to keep on building this database. We're always adding more to the database too. So there's just this, growing number that you can use. But depending on how often you're assigning this homework, and how many you're doing in the classroom sessions. We just want there to be enough, and you're getting all that curriculum in there.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
What we'll do then is, even though the academy is starting that first week of February,
Yeah.
we have on the manager account, for right now that Oklahoma Highway Patrol used, way back in the trial. So, so we'll have that active and scenario builder active so that you guys can start getting this stuff ready or when the when the recruits are using this. So
Mhm.
so that's an important piece here too. And that allows us to do this instructor onboarding piece and the train the trainer stuff kind of in stages, so
Yeah.
that it's a little more camera ready when when February 9th does roll around. And I think that actually ties in with the spreadsheet, template that we sent ahead of time. Obviously, it'll be Jared, Chris. You guys would have, want to have some kind of manager access there. And is there anybody else that you're going to want to add?
Yes, there is. There'd probably be two more names, but I can't tell you who those names are yet.
Don't worry
And
about it.
and,
Don't worry about
and I'm not even trying to hold it a secret. It's I know exactly
it.
who I'd love to add on there. I just don't know if the department's going to allow me. And one of my questions is even for Jared, because Jared, I'm thinking the first week of January is when we'll be able to get you, because Jared's got field training obligations for his home troop that he's going to have to satisfy, and uh, us taking him from that is it's a burden they're going to have to carry. But realistically, when we're looking at those scenarios and making them Oklahoma and OHP centric, we were able to Jared refresh my memory, but I was thinking like 2 videos a day is almost all we could thoroughly vet before we showed him during that trial week. And I, what is realistic from your side? Like, do we need to be doing more per day? Like if say we get another person assigned to us that can help do this, how many videos would you think that we could vet per day so we could have a stable of videos ready for when the academy starts?
So I guess the question for me would be how many scenarios are available in there, like that are available now. If I remember, it was like 40.
I think
Um,
there's a little bit more than that. I think there's
okay.
somewhere in the range of 70 something right now. That yeah,
Um,
but then there's those are the scenarios we've created. There's
right.
probably 75 videos on top of that. So
And
if
I'm
you have
okay.
set video, you can then create your own scenarios on those videos. You can
Right.
create endless amount of scenarios
Right.
per video if you wanted, depending on exactly what you want to teach.
So,
Um, I would say if that's the case from me going in there and reviewing and manipulating the videos to make them to our questions and answers, I could say that I mean probably on average myself, I could probably do 2 to 3 a day if that's all I was doing.
Mhm. Oh,
Now,
if
if I
that's all you were doing. So
yeah
you
yeah
think it was taking you like a couple hours? It was like
yeah
doing an hour per
yeah
scenario, or is that
yeah. Well,
um
I think it was taking what took me a little bit longer um, than I would say probably I needed to was because I wanted to make sure that I was covering my basis with each discipline when it
right.
comes to shooting, fighting, and driving. And so if I had a scenario that come up and I was like, hey, are we still going to be teaching this type of situation when it comes to our defensive tactics? And so, I'd have to be on the phone with one of the defensive tactics instructors and then,
Okay.
hey, we're going to watch this video together. These are the available answers. Are you okay with this for when it comes to your defensive tactics teaching?
I see.
The same thing for firearms, the same thing for driving. And from the legal standpoint and, just general continuing education, I can answer my own questions. But for everybody
Right.
else, that having that input. And so I would say, I think very easily if myself for doing editing those videos, I mean, I could probably get up to 4 a day pretty easy. Just if I had, like say I had Roy with me on a defensive tactics that day that he was there. him and I could sit side by side, watch it, and knock 2 or 3 defensive tactics videos out that day. And then that following day, if I'm doing a firearms type deal, I could get, hey, Lieutenant Ross, hey, I need you for 4 hours today and knock out 2 or 3, and then jump into education to where I maybe didn't need them for a little while, and then further into the academy, I may steal them again for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's
To
kind of
make
like,
it
getting somebody to do role playing. It's like getting someone to pull out to do role play, but you're putting their info into play for, perpetuity so you can use it over and over again. So, you grab them for 2 hours, but you're not grabbing them for 2 hours, multiple
every
times
day.
in the
Yeah.
year, right? So that's like the huge savings right there. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I could say 2 to 3.
Okay.
I mean, I could say I could probably get to 4
Yeah,
a day.
stuff isn't necessarily
Yeah.
the interface or anything. It's making
No.
sure that the answers,
Okay.
the questions and everything are aligning with policy and state law.
Yeah, because the prompt points and where stuff is, I mean, that's super easy to go in and manipulate the question or change
Right.
the question altogether
Yeah.
to something different.
But it's the
And so,
material. It's just
right.
making sure the material. Do you have, and this is something that we are working on, um, do you have any documents or material that lay out the specifics of what you're trying to teach? Because future versions can take that material and then basically search through our questions to make sure it aligns, right? So it
Like a
would be
handbook. I think like a
a
handbook
handbook
we're giving them.
that says, if X do Y, or something around that. Because what we can do is then make sure that all the scenarios or which ones already align to those principles, or then flag the ones that don't, so that it makes your life a little bit easier. That's just a possibility. We
Yeah.
know from other departments there isn't necessarily these training materials, and that's why eTRAIN is kind of made the way it is, because
Yeah.
that information is kind of all up here in your minds and in,
Right.
in veterans' minds. It's not put down anywhere. And that's kind of what we're trying to create with eTRAIN, is places to put it down so that the next generation comes in and it's kind of explained for them.
I
Um,
and I know exactly what you're saying, and um, it it it's kind of a weird deal, right? Because it seems like even our policies to an outsider, like, that's really vague. How do you interpret
right.
that? Well,
Yeah.
that's by design, and the courts have given us so much latitude for
Hmm.
human performance, human decision making issues.
Yep.
I don't know that we could. I think you're just gonna have to put us on the boat with all the other guys in that realm.
Well, actually,
And
I think what
Yeah.
Jordan's getting to is less so about like kind of that latitude you're talking about with human decision making, and it's more about like when you generate a report, let's say after doing a class, right? And if you want to kind of couch it in the terms that they're using already in their training reading materials, right? Then we're using AI, large language models, stuff like that, to be able to kind of like fit the explanations a little closer, like the text-based explanations, to the language that, if you have specific training materials. If you don't, it's fine. We kind of make it a
Yeah.
little generic.
okay,
You know what I'm saying? But like if there's a specific wording or whatever, kind of way that you're phrasing things will come across in whatever reading that they're doing. It's kind of a like nice to have. It's not really
Yeah.
what's going on today in today's meeting.
So could you I like to say with AI, could AI receive all that information from our PowerPoints?
Basically, for
PowerPoints
the most
are,
part.
yes.
Yeah, for the most
PowerPoints
part,
are
you can.
harder than straight text. PowerPoints are,
Well,
because they're kind of images, right? AI
right,
thinks of them as images, so now they have to understand the image and get
right.
context for the image, whereas like
I,
text is text.
I
Well,
think
I was
I might be
thinking,
able to. So I think I might be able to do that. I got to ask permission because I'm going to use Jared. I'm going to use some of the Devlin's material from Scottsdale because
mhm.
I want to incorporate some of that field training material into the academy material, especially when we're talking about the decision making with the policing priorities. Uh, I can I can break those PowerPoints down
Well, PowerPoint should do it for you as well. If you
Well, yeah, I mean,
essentially make an
we can
outline
just
from,
we can just take the text from the PowerPoint
yeah.
and put it on a document and
Yeah,
be,
Yeah,
we don't
we could do
necessarily
that
need
too.
to. Yeah, we
That's
don't
not a
necessarily
problem.
need
We
to
could do
make
that
more
too.
work for you too. Like we can do
Yeah.
something like that too. I mean, it's not a again. This is kind of like a when we get there kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but it's just like something that occurred to us as you're starting to like integrate
Yeah.
the use of eTRAIN with the curriculum that's being, done in the academy. So, I guess as you get those kind of, just kind of keep in the back of your mind when you run in any kind of text, we can incorporate that into how they're getting reports back
Hmm.
and how you're producing reports for them. It'll help them kind of like even more even more quickly learn the material because they'll be kind of speaking about it now in the language that you're
Yeah.
teaching.
so I had a question about videos, right? So
Yep.
most of the OHP videos are going to be dash cam videos, not body worn camera videos.
Hmm.
And for if we wanted to use our videos, what would be the process of us getting them to you so you could put them on a platform?
So you can upload them if they are, let's say, if you can export them for, let's say it's like evidence.com or your evidence locker or digital evidence locker, whatever it is. If you're able to export them to, let's say, an MP4 format, you have the ability to upload it yourself
Okay.
through the scenario builder. What I would say, as you start doing that, we might want to do it where it comes through us first, where you say we only need, the minute, 3 minutes, or the 3 minutes in the middle of this video, because those dash cam videos, they might be an hour long. It's not
Yeah.
worth uploading the whole
Right.
hour,
Yeah,
kind of
if you've
thing.
already got the edited video,
Yeah.
you go. I mean,
Mhm.
Jared, you've seen this page
Yeah.
before when you were
Yeah.
doing scenario builder, and it's just that
Yeah.
upload a new video, and then you pick it.
Because what I had thought about too on that, like same thing with the lieutenant's talking about, because we don't have body cameras,
Yeah.
and I know we have a few guys that do have body cameras. That I know there's a couple that would be good. Probably they have a couple of just regular traffic stops that have a body camera along with it that I could snatch from them. Trooper Peoples out in Troop H, he's one I know that has a body camera that I could snatch from him type deal. But what I had thought about too is like when we get into making our own videos and with that, either using those uh, or for lack of better words, if we make it and we're doing a mock traffic stop, then we make this video of using like a GoPro or even using our iPhones or whatever to make that walk up and that approach. Because we don't have to have an actual traffic stop for them to even understand. We could go somewhere out on a county road and make the stop, and I get out with
Yeah.
my iPhone, they wouldn't know the difference
Hmm.
until the scenario stopped.
Yeah,
So
I would say the only caution we would have there, and this is what we learned from NYPD. NYPD has their own production studio, and they shoot basically those things. They've learned that officers kind of tune out once they see an officer they know in the video being like
yeah,
the bad guy or whoever.
yeah,
So that's just the one caution I would do to
yeah,
like when you're creating your own videos
yeah,
is they'll tune out because they'll start
yeah.
laughing, oh, his acting or whatever. So that's just one caution I would
Yeah.
think
No,
about.
that's and I had kind of heard the same just from getting feedback from
Mm.
prior guys that have used like the Milo system or something like
Right,
that.
right, right, right,
When you
right.
add when you add my face in there, going, "Hey, we got to go get this guy," they're like, "Oh, this guy." Um,
Right.
but my thought process is essentially just have the iPhone going and
Yep.
have a chest mount with the iPhone or a GoPro, and they don't ever see my face. They might hear my
Yeah,
voice, but they don't ever see my face. And so making those scenarios, I think we can manipulate
that's
some of those
perfect.
with some guys that
Hmm.
have body cameras
You know,
before.
Yeah.
and it's interesting you say that about officers they may recognize, or trainers even that they may recognize.
Hmm.
Because I think some of the decision we did a scenario like live hands-on scenario a few days at the end of this last academy, and I think because of we were the role players, the instructors for the entire academy, and I think that did affect some of the decision making, but because of that, so it's
It is, yeah, it will change, if interperson like anything, your interpersonal relationships, or whether you know the person or not, or you know something about the person or not, does change how you see them, you hear them, you interact with them. So all that is not to say don't do it. It's just something to keep in mind. But um, if you're starting to create those videos, I don't know how well you guys are at manipulating, video content and editing and things like that. But if you do need help, that's something we would easily help you with, where you say, okay, here's the video. We only need from this part to that part, and it takes us, 20 minutes to fix and upload for you.
Right.
And then it's on the system.
Yeah.
And we'll reiterate again, if you want that video only to be used for your academy, for your department, it stays within your department. We do ask, if you have the ability to release it, to us, we can now use it for other departments. And so we try and get all the departments to say yes to that for videos that are acceptable for that, so that we keep on growing for everyone and everyone benefits. So either way, that's how we would do it.
So I guess last question related to the videos usage is we've obviously we have the 40 accounts for the one-on-one usage in the academy, but I know we've also talked about having classroom not only for the academy but also being able to be used by other troopers. So is that something that you guys are gonna start doing like this fall before the academy, or somebody else being doing that, or is classroom primarily going to be used in the academy, when we get into February?
It's only going to be the academy first, and then depending on how the academy goes, and hopefully we see some results towards the end of the academy, of course, with their decision making and hopefully in field training. And then I think like for in-service training for troopers statewide, that is definitely not outside of the realm of possibilities.
Right.
But I think we're going to start very compartmentalized at first with
Mhm.
just academy and the
Okay.
cadets.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to know from the content, like the video content side of things, but that's
Yep.
phasing it that way, like
Sounds great.
before in service, having it, within Academy, it'll build that database too. So
Oh
um,
yeah,
it
yeah.
would help kind of get to that point. So, all right, so we've got I guess just recapping then here, the uh the account list, or the manager account list will hold on. I mean, you guys got some time with it. So I mean, we said in
Yeah.
the email, end of day Monday, because we just thought you guys had it on hand, but there's not like a hard deadline on that. So just whenever is fine. And we in the email we included a link just to kind of review scenario builder usage. I mean, Jared, you're pretty good at it already, so it's probably going to be kind of remedial video for you. But just in case, and if you want to like show someone else how to do it. So I think that's pretty much everything right now. If I mean, we're basically November 1 now. Do you guys want to? I mean, so the trial is reactivated, so to speak. That same account. Do you guys want to like just make sure you can log in on it right now, and make sure everything's good on your end, so you can start manipulating scenarios and things like that before we wrap up today?
Yeah, and and Jared, I'd be happy anytime, if you wanted to jump on a Zoom again and to go through. We're continually making changes to the system, so sometimes you're gonna log in and be like, "Oh, that looks new. I'm not exactly sure what that does." Um, Happy to go through it again at some point. And
Mhm.
if when you get new managers on, or if whoever else is working within the system, happy to set up a training the trainer session, so that
Sure.
we can do that uh, many times before February rolls around. I think we should definitely have a mid-January check-in, just to see everything is set up from the curriculum standpoint
Hmm.
of what's left. How much have
Yeah.
you gotten done? Do you
Well,
need
yeah,
help with anything?
even before that,
Yeah, that's the last sort of
I'm thinking we're
before the
at
kickoff.
November 1 right now. We make sure you guys can log in right now to the account and then
Yeah.
say like, December 1 at the latest for the first check-in on how things are going with, more picking scenarios, organizing them, kind of coming back to these things about are we going to have an order to the scenarios or are we going to do algorithmic only for one-on-one? And then finalizing the manager account list. So is sometime around like December 1 okay, like enough time and like schedule wise, Jared, in terms of other responsibilities that you've got going on? Is that an okay amount of time? That's basically 4 weeks from today.
Oh, I'm at the mercy of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol.
I knew he was going to say that.
We're
um,
partially at the mercy of Oklahoma Highway
so
Uh, no,
I
I mean, really, yeah. If you, the only thing I would say is you probably have to email me the link to the sign in deal
Put that
because
in the
I'm
Mhm.
chat right now and make sure you
okay.
can log in, and then
And then
Chris too. We can put that in the chat here, so
yeah,
you can make sure you
Yeah,
can log in.
definitely. I mean, for a QA, like make sure it's like, all right, we're in, we can get in. For now, that I think that's important. I was thinking, do you think we could do a like a train to trainer type deal, maybe at mid-December?
Yeah, that's good.
Mhm. Yep.
And then because I'm going to really push the issue with personnel assignments by then, because I mean, for another instructor with Jared for sure. So I can get him, even though he might not be assigned to us yet, but I can at least get him on that train to trainer, knowing that he is going to be assigned to us, hopefully at the beginning of January for the academy. Because as important as all the staff is for this school, um, especially with this eTRAIN, the instructors are. This will be an instructor-driven school,
Yep.
where past schools have been are more drill instructor-driven. This is going to be classroom.
Uh,
It's this school for me is my main priority will be decision making. And because the more I think about the decision making and with this eTRAIN coming up and some other training that I've been doing with field trainers talking about the decision making process and how we do it, I think that is law enforcement in a nutshell.
It is. No, it really
Decision
is.
yeah. Yeah.
It really is. No, it absolutely
and,
is. And I think
and,
like,
and I think we've always focused on the physical skills versus the mental skills, and I I think maybe we need to
You're
reverse
speaking
all.
our language.
yeah,
Yeah,
You're preaching to the
reversing it,
choir.
you are.
I know I am. So it's nice. I get praised when I preach to the choir. The congregation sometimes boos me. So
I was gonna say we are the choir
yeah,
before I said that. I'll
yeah.
say we are the
No,
choir.
this you sold me in Indianapolis. You had a buyer there. So this is I think we are I there's a couple of things we're doing as an agency where we're the first in the state of Oklahoma, and of course no one has used eTRAIN in this state yet. And then the field training program that we're teaching now is more of a learning centric field training, less discipline, and we're the first in that regard too. And it's all tying in, and it's all around decision making, and
Great. No,
this
that's
is
great. I mean, and you'll see the dividends in terms of like performance,
Yeah.
and we'll work with you on, like how you're evaluating that because I know that's an important piece, right? To
Yeah.
seeing the effect, right? And so
Yeah. We're not just going to throw data at you and say, good luck. We
yeah,
will help you
that's
understand
we'll
it
get to that
and get through it. Yeah.
as we get into the one-on-ones happening and the classroom sessions. We're gonna prioritize that you guys do schedule one-on-one with the Zoom schedule, like one-on-one sessions with us to review the classroom data, to review the individual officers' data, so that you're getting some benefits of analysis along the way from the neuroscience background that we come from, right, and that the people that work with us come from, or the law enforcement background that people work with us come from. So that's going to be very important piece. That's coming later, right? But this part of getting the setup and whatever and getting the mechanics going is what our Q4 is mostly going to be focused on. So we'll plan on the train the trainer, to be scheduled like mid-December. We'll get a Zoom scheduler link out to you for that. And if we can do like a touch point somewhere around last week of November, or like after, maybe like just after Thanksgiving, I think. 'Cause I think Thanksgiving's late this year.
Yeah,
Um,
it's on the 27th this year. So
yeah, okay. So I think if we shoot for like, that week after Thanksgiving, to have a time on the schedule just to be like, how's it going? Adding scenarios, have you modified some? Have you added some videos? And we'll be in touch with you, along the way if you run into any specifics. But I think like kind of a four of us meeting, and maybe if Jansen's available, just so he's kind of in the loop of what's going on with it too, would help. And I know Jared, you and Jordan have been, in touch
Yeah.
regularly during the trial, so there's no barriers there. So, feel free to be in touch.
Yep.
Were you able to log in using the link and the login info that Jordan put in the chat earlier?
Yes. I was the one of the questions I had on that is, are we all going to use the same login or that? Or are we going to go ahead and make individual logins uh, for that?
That's a Jordan question.
Yeah, so you guys can decide. It won't change anything. The scenarios, it's all linked to the department.
Okay.
Um, so if you guys just want one manager account that can be shared, everyone's just gonna have to remember the password together.
Yeah.
If you
tell me what
want
our username is.
it was I believe OHP manager. I had it up a second ago. Um, users HP, or it was OK Highway Patrol. So OK Highway Patrol. I don't have the password because I believe you guys reset it. So Jared, you probably had
It's
that.
I'll say it automatically logged me in, so I'm sure I saved it somewhere. I can find it.
Yeah, then it's saved on your
Okay, that's good then. Okay. And it's just
um
how patrol all no spaces,
no
lowercase.
spaces, all lowercase.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so if you need to reset the password, I believe you can do that you go to like the settings, and
Uh,
it says like change password.
I just
So you
get
can
it.
do it there.
I'll be
Yeah.
able to get it from Jared more than likely and
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so Jared, if you just logged in, you should see, it'll go to a screen and it says you don't have any officers. You can go to scenario builder, instructor dashboard, or
Yeah.
available scenarios kind of thing. You'll notice that the available scenarios have changed since the last time you looked at it. One, it gives you a little bit easier look at and a summary of what the scenario is, so you don't have to like click on it and review it. You can like read that summary text to give you a good sense of what it is. So that should help a little bit
And
in
there are a
sort of
lot of
searching.
little changes like that
Yeah,
you'll see that we've enhanced, but I think that might be a reason to do,
yeah,
maybe a one-on-one between you and
yeah,
Jordan, Jared, to
Yeah.
just kind of take a tour of it again and run a session, something like that, generate a report. That's kind of a new thing, I think, since we did the trial. I think getting a hands-on with that. If you want to like mess around a little bit on your own first, these next couple weeks,
yeah,
that could be fine, and then you guys schedule something like maybe this coming week or the week after. That would probably be a good step if you have some time. I don't know kind of what the mercy of Oklahoma Highway Patrol is right this second, but if they do give you a half an hour, I think it could be really valuable to just you
yeah,
know start thinking about what you're gonna do when you get to academy by starting to see the available training scenarios enhancement that Jordan was talking about, the other AI-based report generating tools that we have in there now as well, and and otherwise just getting acclimated with using Classroom or whatever else. So I'll leave that to you guys, to kind of
Yeah,
on your
we'll
own.
set that up.
We'll aim to do a reconnect on all this like that week after Thanksgiving, and then just to kind of touch base on some of these items, um, that we talked about here. Does that sound good, everyone?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. I'm
Awesome.
taking notes right now so I can plug this in my
Well,
memory.
we'll also have the video available
Yeah,
if necessary.
I was on a
Mhm.
email thread that Jansen, I saw he replied all he wanted to be able to be there. So what we worked out with the account manager was that we would just like get him the link and just some high level notes and everything. But we'll be sharing that with everybody. So
Sure.
I guess closing the loop on the milestone thing, Chris, Jewel, gave us the purchase order. So we could just invoice all at once, or we can do in stages. It's kind of up to you guys. It's easiest for us just to invoice it all at once because it, reduces.
I recommend doing it all at once because all the money's there. Let's use it.
Okay, and
And
do you
if
have
we did it in stages, I'm afraid we might Oklahoma pay you, and
right? Okay,
that would not be good for business
okay.
on our side and the continuing business for
You're
your
saying
side.
you're saying sooner doesn't apply to payments in Oklahoma too? No?
No, it does not.
It's only sports. Okay, all
Well,
right.
you have to remember, what a Sooner is.
It was weren't they though? They were the like they land rushed, right?
Oh, they're
They're the
thieves.
cheaters. They're the thieves
Oh.
and the cheaters.
Well,
They
I was
started the
using the
land run a little
diplomatic
early.
phrase.
If if you can't tell, I'm an Oklahoma State alumni, so them Oklahoma cheaters can stay down there all they want
That's funny. That's funny. Well, it's yeah, I'll I mean since we're starting the kind of the service date today, I'll just, plan for us to we'll issue the invoice, like for the full amount because we'll use that as the milestone.
Oh
Uh
yeah, and I'll Jules is right, 2 offices down the hall from me. I'll let her know to expect that too. So and that
yeah.
way she has been I've never seen a process move this fast
Oh.
than because it wasn't moving as fast when I was doing it. And she said, "Hey, this is what I do." Because some of our guys in procurement, they started speaking foreign languages to me and asking me all these questions, and I'm like, "Am I supposed to know what you're saying? They just threw 5 different 4-letter acronyms at me, and I had no idea what any of them were. And Jules said, "I got it," and she's
She
taken
said,
that.
"I speak eye chart. I'll translate."
Yeah,
Right.
evidently,
Right.
but
No, she was great with us. I mean, she was very helpful. And yeah, big thanks to her. So we'll all right, so we'll take care of getting that and closing the loop on that. I think we're off and running, so that's great. So
this is this is uh, this is good. I'm
Fantastic.
excited about this. I'm
great.
excited
Yeah,
about.
no,
We
us
are
too.
too.
We're really
We
excited.
are
I
too.
think, it's great that we don't have to kind of like nickel and dime, everybody's gonna have it, all 40. And you're expecting 40 in the class or more in the
So it our numbers. Um, we may actually start 50, knowing that we won't have 50 when we graduate.
right.
If we started 50, I wouldn't expect to graduate around 36, 37.
Right.
And then if we start 40, I would expect to graduate 32, 31.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
If
but
you guys
40,
get into the situation where you need to rotate people on one-on-ones, just
Yeah.
we'll work that out. But
Yeah. If you have to rotate it in, then we can
don't worry
just
about
add more
that.
accounts, deactivate the other accounts, and you would have 40
Yeah.
running all the time. But who the 40 are would change.
And
So
we're excited to, get this going either way.
no,
So
that's good.
that
And
was just one other like logistic thing that I know Jordan and I talked about that
mhm.
we need to bring up here. So all right, so we're
I
all
just
set
hope
to
that
go, I think.
yeah, I just hope that we have enough good data for you where you can actually say, hey, OSP uses us, and instead of the opposite saying you'd rather hide us from ever.
No. It's going to be great. You guys are going to do great, and it's going to be we're going to get a lot of really interesting data, and the way you have it set up is going to be even more interesting in
I
that
mean, helpful data.
we
That's
yeah, and helpful data, and some of the new advancements we've made even since we last discussed had the trial where we'll be able to show individual officer improvement over time. So where they start is not where they finish, and that's the point of going through the academy. And we'll be able to show that really easily with the data. And it's really useful in also showing which areas they are not improving at, which is probably even more important for you to see. And we'll show you how to use the eTRAIN to identify that within the officers. And that'll be really helpful.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
good deal. All right, guys. Well, thanks for making the time, getting everyone together here, and we'll get the recording out and meeting notes and stuff like that out probably next 24, 48 hours or so. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Good
Thank
seeing you
you.
guys.
Good to see you guys.
Take
All right.
care.
See ya. Bye.